think we're good to go.
Okay, great. Could I just ask everyone to mute their microphones? I think most people have. It's just housekeeping Zoom calls. It just means that everyone can hear me, and hopefully that's the case. If you can't hear me or there's any extra questions or anything like that, the chat is at the bottom. There's a little chat button, which Miss Sarah's put her email address in. You can ask any questions on there. I'll have it open so that I can see it at the same time. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you because I think the best way to show everyone is to actually have this on the screen. So in middle school especially, but also grade 5, we've given students Chromebooks to work from home, and the main platform for students to hand in work or to show us what they're doing in middle school especially is Google Classroom. Now when the student logs on, this is the kind of screen that they'll see, and you can see in the address bar here, it's classroom.google.com. Okay, it's a nice easy website to remember. Even if you can't remember it, just type in Classroom into Google, it's the first result, and it's really simple to use. In middle school, it's slightly different to grade 5, but in middle school, we've got this homeroom, which is for their homeroom teachers to communicate to them. This is also where they'll find their overviews for the week, so their online learning, all of that is through that. You can also see there's a few other classes that I've joined in this test account. I've got art and DT, English and science. The first thing that I want to show you is that this is probably the most important classroom on Google Classroom for middle school students. Homeroom is the place where everything is posted for their students' learning. So just to get them used to the week, get them all of their overviews, everything like that. It's really important they have access to this and that you know where it is. So it's usually called like 6A homeroom, 6B homeroom, something like that.
And if I can say, a lot of parents have said, I'm not sure, where are the overviews? I don't understand, do I have science? It's going to be posted. That's why it's so important. That homeroom is where your overview and all of the instruction for the week is going to be posted.
Thank you, Miss Sarah. Yes, absolutely. So it's really important you know where that is, but also you can actually move these around. So if you wanted to move it to the front and move it to the top, all you have to do is just drag and drop them. Okay, so you can just move these around. It's really intuitive. Okay, and what I'd encourage you to do if you are a parent of a middle school student, or if you are a student yourself, move that homeroom class to the front so that you always have easy access to it. Miss Sarah was talking about the overviews. So this is my homeroom. I'm the homeroom teacher for 6B. You can see I've been posting things saying if there's any issues, contact me. I've also posted the overview here for the week's learning. So this is every Sunday, this is where it will go for the students. And if I click on it, it just opens it up and you can see there's Zoom links there for people to join, and all the work that they need to be doing is there. So that's the basics of Google Classroom. To go back, there's a little 3 lines at the top here, which shows the main menu, and you can just click back on classes and it'll bring it back. All your classes are there. If you've got a specific specific subject where students are being asked to turn in work, say for example it's science, there are 2 places where students can find the work that's been set to them. The first one is in the stream. So we're in the stream now, and it's just got all of the posts that I've been posting saying, here's our first lesson, here's the Zoom recorded, here's a new assignment, and so on. And I can click into those if I want to, if I want more information to find out what I want. If there's an issue or something, I can type my response saying, I don't know, I can't play the video. Okay, and I can post that on there, and I'll get a notification if a student decides to interact in that way. So that's the stream. It has everything in chronological order, going back to when the classroom was first made. There's also the classwork tab. Now the classwork tab is where we can find all of the work which is being set for students, such as assignments and classwork. So for example, this is my week 2 learning. I've asked my grade 6 students to complete a research topic. And then there's a file drop here where I can put my answers in, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. But you can see it says it's assigned, and it tells me when the due date is. It's due tomorrow. And I can see that it's classwork. I can also, there's a quiz for me to do that I should have done by now, or it's due tomorrow, sorry. So that information's there as well. I can also see the third tab is the people tab. So it has an overview of the people who are involved in the class. We've got the other students in here, my classmates, they're in here. And we've also got the teachers who are involved. So it's myself, I'm the lead teacher of the subject, science. We've got Miss Maggie, who's the principal, and Mr. Martin, who is the head of middle school. So those are the teachers who are involved. They can see all of the work that's being posted as well. But the main teacher is the one at the top. So the main teacher in this case is me. So that's where you'll find work. You'll find it in the stream and in the classwork. If I go back to the main screen and classes, okay, that was for science. If I wanted to look at art and DT, okay, I can see that Mr. Martin has been posting some work for art. And I can see that in the class work file as well. It does tell me that these are a little overdue because obviously I'm not really taking part in Mr. Martin's lessons, but that's where you can check as well. If we have got to hand something in, okay, say for example, we're in my science lesson and we can see that we've got this research task to take place, okay. I said, see the attached document, it's due Thursday. So if I click on the attached document, it says the instructions, okay, you're going to research volcanoes, earthquakes, continental drift, any of these, and produce a poster about a chosen subject. 1 lesson for research, 1 lesson to complete it. We can also see here, we've got this other file, which is test, which happens to be the name of the account, just because we're not using a real account, and then poster file drop. So this is where, if I click into it, you should be able to see there's nothing here at the moment. Okay, there's nothing here, but this is where my completed poster would go. Okay, and this is where I would leave all of the information. So if I wanted to show off any of my understanding, I'd put it into this document. Now, what you might notice is there is no button to click save. Okay, there's no button to click save here. Everything in Google Classroom or Google Docs saves automatically. Okay, so everything in Google Classroom saves automatically. There is no need for the student to save anything. This really helps when we're looking for work or if someone has misplaced their files, it's automatically saved. So they don't have to worry about it being, oh, I've left it on my USB drive or I've left it somewhere. All saved. Don't have to worry about it. It's there. They can log on any computer, specifically their Chromebook, and find it. The only thing that they do have to do is this button here, this turn in button. Okay, now a lot of my students who aren't used to using Google Classroom, I can't see their work because they haven't turned it in for me to see. So if I just type something here, I say, this is my poster. Obviously, it's not a very good poster, but this is my poster. I can now press this turn in button. Okay, once I press that turn in button, that's it. Okay, it's just going to ask me, do I want to turn it in? I also get some, I can also have private comments to my teacher, okay, which go here. So I can click turn in. This just means it's going to be submitted. I can always unsubmit it if I 5 minutes later I'm like, oh no, I've left something out, or oh no, I really need to change that. I can press unsubmit and it will just bring me back and I can edit it again. if I've got a private comment to the teacher saying, I don't know, I don't understand, please, can you explain again? I can put that in the private comments and then
Hi, teacher.
To the teacher.
Hi, teacher.
Hi. Have you got a question?
My name is Zaid.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Zaya. Can you mute yourself, sweetie?
Yes.
Thank you.
So this is where students can respond to their teacher, or they can ask questions, or they can let us know, and teachers will get an email when this is sent here. Okay, so the teacher would know, and they would be able to respond to it on Google Classroom for your son or daughter. Also to note here, we've got, this is the same document from before, the research topic. That's the same one, which is just the instructions. All of my files are under your work. So the bit where I've said turn in, that's here. Okay, and I can see where I've turned in. If I click on it, I can see this is my poster. I can't now edit it because I've turned it in. If I want to edit it again, I have to go back and I have to press unsubmit. Okay, and it doesn't add to or change it, but it just means that the teacher won't be able to see it until I submit it again. So I've got to make sure I do that on time. So that's how you submit work into Google Classroom. I can also add in extra things. So if I said, for example, I wanted to add in, I've taken a picture of my work and I wanted to add that in, I could, for example, take a picture of my work and add it in. Okay, I'm not going to add anything in because I don't want to make it confusing or anything, but this is where all of my work can be added in before I press turn in. Only when I press turn in can the teacher see what I've done and what I've uploaded. Okay, so it's really important that students remember to press that turn in button. Are there any questions on that so far? If there are, feel free to unmute yourself or ask in the chat. I think most people are okay. Good.
So does anyone have any questions? So I know we have some students here, but parent-wise, is there any parents who are confused about kind of looking at the way Google Classroom is set up or anything like that?
Yeah, okay. I have a question. This is Sabrina's mother from grade 5A.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Sarah. So what I get it is the same pattern that it needed to be followed for grade 5 as well, the Google Classroom, yes?
Yes. Yes. So right now, grade 5 just are getting into their Chromebooks. 6, 7, and 8 understand Google Classroom and the systems. So they were given them right as we started school. Whereas grade 5 right now, we're going to be transitioning them now onto Google Classroom. So this is a really good tutorial for you as Sabrina starts Google Classroom.
Okay, great. And okay, so what about this Dojo Classroom? This works along with Google Classroom, or once she should switch to the Google Classroom, then the other one no need?
Yeah,
or
so
they
once,
go side alongs?
of course. So once you start, so in middle school, they use Google Classroom for everything academic, and Class Dojo is the communication tool between the parent and the teacher. If a student needs something, they communicate with the teacher with Google Classroom. So grade 5 right now is doing all Google Classroom, but when they, all Class Dojo, but when they start Google Classroom, they're going to transition to all academics being on Google Classroom with teachers and students communicating, and all parent communication being through Class Dojo, just like middle school.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you. Thanks.
It really helps with...
Sorry, one quick question. This from which grades will start? From grade 1, 2, or?
So right now, Google Classroom is for grade 5 and up. Right now, we're looking and trialing it within 1 to 4, but Class Dojo is the main tool for 1 to 4. We're actually going to have a parent workshop on Class Dojo next week.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah. I was just going to say as well to that, the students really like it in middle school, being able to take control of their work and being able to take responsibility for their learning using Google Classroom. So these comments, They're really useful to enable that teacher chat, especially during coronavirus when we have distance learning happening. So I can't actually see my students apart from over Zoom. So these private comments really help with that. Okay, and so once we've added work here, if we say, for example, this research topic, we wanted to create something else with it, we could put a drawing in here, we could put a spreadsheet in here, we could put a PowerPoint in here, we could put a Google document in here. We could also upload a file, say we're using, we've got a file on our desktop, we could upload it here. But most of the files that we're going to be using through Google are in Google Drive. Now, Google Drive is a whole separate thing to Google Classroom, but they interlink really well. So if I was looking for, let's say I was looking to find a picture, and I wanted to find this picture, let's choose this one. I can just press this insert picture, okay, and then it adds it on to my work. I can do that as many times as I want. So if I've got lots of documents and lots of things to add in, I can just upload them straight away from this add or create button. Okay, I could do that with a file as well. So if I wanted to upload a file, I can press, instead of searching Google Drive, I can press upload, which will bring up a browse function for my files on my computer. I'm using a Mac, so it will look slightly different on a Chromebook, but the same principle applies. They can find the file that they want, and then they can just click on it, and then they can upload it. Okay, and then it just takes a little bit of time to upload it, and then it's in there. Now, as I said before, teachers can't see this until you press that magic turn in button. So you've got to press turn in. It will come up and say, are you sure you want to turn in? Yes, yes, I'm sure I want to turn it in. Okay, and then it's done. Okay, and that's my piece of work done. That's one way you can upload work. If I go back to science, one thing I like to do in my science lessons is have quizzes. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Excuse me?
Are you okay?
Excuse me? Yes. Excuse me, can we download in the laptop our school?
What do you mean, sorry?
My own laptop.
My own laptop.
So you can use Google. Sorry, Sarah.
No, sorry, Mr. Ben, you can answer. But Zayed, you're in grade 5, sweetie, so you're going to receive a Chromebook that your mom and dad can pick up if you're distance learning. And if you're in class, then you'll receive it from Mr. Giroux and Mr. John. Sorry, Mr. Ben.
Okay.
No, that's fine. Thank you, Miss Sarah. Another thing that I like to do in science is set quizzes. So I've got my week 2 lesson 2 check. This is just for my Google form, which is another part of Google. This is how we do quizzes. So if I was doing this quiz, okay, you can see that there's just some answers to type. So I can type whatever, core, this one's, all of these are necessary. Guess, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I'm a bit confused there, but I've submitted it. Okay, that then is saved straight away. There's nothing extra that the student needs to do. They don't need to take a picture or anything like that. It's done. Okay, I can then just close this and then go back to my other tab. Okay, so I can go back to that and it's already done. All I need to do is I can just press view assignment and just mark as done. That just lets the teacher know that I've done it, and that's it. Okay. I'm going to go back to the home screen now for Google, for Google Classroom. Okay, so you can see all my classes there. That's quite a nice way to have an overview of different things. If there's work pending, okay, it will appear in these white boxes here. So underneath where it says science, if there was work that was due in, obviously I've just done a load of work, it would appear here. So that's one way to check where we can, what work is due. Another way to check what work is due is to press on the to-do button. So the to-do button brings up any work that is outstanding. Okay, so it will come up in the assigned bit here. Obviously, I've done all my work. I'm an excellent student, so I don't need to do anything here. But there might be some work that's missing from the previous week. Now I can see that my English teacher, I've missed the deadline. It was due on Tuesday at 8 p.m. I've missed it completely. Okay. Now I could then, if I click into it, I can then speak to my English teacher and say, sorry, I missed this. Okay. And that will let the teacher know that I've missed the work. Obviously they can see that I haven't done it, but I can apologize here and say, I'll get onto it as soon as possible. Okay. I can mark it as done. I can add in extra work. I can do all the work exactly the same as before. It's just that I've missed the deadline there, and it will appear to the teacher that I've done it late. Okay. If we go back to that to-do list, okay, I'm going to discard those changes because I don't need them. We can see that I've got artwork that was due on Monday. I've got English, which was due on Monday. I've also got work from last week, okay, that I've missed out on. I can also see the work that I've done, okay, and I can see that it's turned in, okay, and these will change to graded once the student gives me feedback. Sorry, once the teacher gives me feedback. So I can see my grade afterwards. I might get, I don't know, 60 out of 100, 80 out of 100, something like that, and the mark will appear. Okay. So I can see that here, last week, I got 90 out of 100 on this test. On this one, I got 50 out of 100, and on this one, I got 100 out of 100. Okay, so this is a quick overview to see how I'm getting on as a student in these classes. This was for last week, okay, and obviously I can see earlier or this week, or if I've done some things early, which is great. Anything which is missing appears here, okay, and anything that's still outstanding that I should be doing on time is in the assigned bit. Okay. Last thing on Google Classroom is the calendar. Okay, now the calendar is just for your assignments. It shows you what assignments are due when. So obviously on Wednesday, I've got nothing to hand in. But on Thursday, I had 2 assignments, which I've just done in this Zoom, which I've handed in early. I've got some assignments from art and from English, which I've haven't done, which is still there, okay, but they're in the past. So I can see all of my assignments in 1 week just by looking at the calendar function in Google Classroom. Okay, so far we've just looked at how to move these around. You can just drag and drop them. We've looked at how to hand in assignments. You just go through to your subject and click on classwork or on the stream. They both appear in the same place, and then you can click into the work and then view assignment, and that's where you'll find the assignments. I've also shown you how to have an overview of things through the to-do list, which is the assigned, missing, and the done functions, and also through the calendar like this. Are there any questions on any of that so far?
Okay, I have another question. Sabrina's mother. Okay, I just wanted to know the access, whatever you have explained up till now, is only for the teacher to student, for all the students, or any of the students can have a look of the work of other students as well?
I'm sorry.
Like they can see the other students, how they are doing and how they are working. They can see other classmates work as well, or is it just the teacher who's having an access for all the students' work?
So only the teacher can see all the students' work. Okay.
Okay.
You could, as a student, I wouldn't be able to see my other classmates' work at all. No, it's just my own work. Okay.
Okay.
That's really helpful. I will quickly show you what I've taken a screenshot earlier, and I'll quickly show you what it looks like when a teacher looks at this, because it can be quite useful to see what we see. So I'm going to share this with you. So this is what, at the end of what we would be looking at as teachers, we have an extra page called grades. And what's missing is all the student names. But you can see it calculates an overall grade. It tells us what work is missing, and it tells us what scores they've got when we've marked things. Does that help?
Thanks a lot.
No worries.
And it's really important, guys, what Mr. Ben has up right now. At the end of the term, they're going to receive a percentage. It's really important to keep up with everything, because literally all of this work that they complete is all culminating for their end of term percentage. So if I miss my lesson, if I miss my homework assignment or my classwork assignment every single day, every single week, that's going to impact my percentage at the end of term. So as a parent, it's really helpful for you guys, because you can see their grade, you can see all of the classwork that they have and what they should be submitting. And remember, they have to put the hard work in now to get those good grades at the end.
And what about the live sessions then? So how will they be conducted? Or the live sessions will be there and the same work will be done on the Google Classroom, right?
Mr. Ben?
Yeah, so for me, I use a few different platforms. My main one is Google Classroom to do assessments. I also use something called Mastery Connect to assess the students occasionally. But my main port of call will be Google Classroom. It also links into my online learning platform, Pearson, so I can drag quizzes and stuff from there into Google Classroom, and it works in exactly the same way. So all of my quizzes will give a percentage, and then that will go towards the end of term percentage as well.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
And in science, it lends itself really well because I can do quizzes and things as like at the end of a topic, but it could be that I want to do a quick assessment right at the end of a lesson and be like, right, what did they do? How did they do in this? Just quick 10 questions. Right, did they understand this? And then it's really instant, and it just gives them a percentage right at the end of it. And hopefully, all of my students were getting 100%.
And remember, the work that's posted, it's not like I'm in grade 6 and I'm just going to have a plethora of work. I have to go figure it out. Everything that's posted on here, like Mr. Ben said, it's directly from their lessons. So everything assigned for Mr. Ben, it's things that they know about because they've done a Zoom session where they've discussed it. So the work that's being done is just not random. This teacher has discussed it with them, and it's been started in their lessons.
Yeah, that will be helpful.
Thank you. There was one more thing I wanted to show people before we finished, and that was Google Drive. Now, Google Drive is, if you just search Drive on Google, it will come up. But Google Drive is where you can access all of the files for everything. Okay, so Google Drive is like having your desktop where you save all your files or documents, My Documents. It's kind of like that. Google Classroom is where you can upload it for the teachers. My Drive or Drive is where you can save all your documents for yourself. So if you're working on a project or something, this is sometimes where things might be shared with you. Or where you might find things. Now, I've got a few pictures in here. I've got a few different things. I can see the files that I've dropped in that I was working on. I've got a screenshot that I took that I uploaded. These are all items from Google Classroom. I can also create new documents. So if I want to work on a file, let's say I'm doing, I don't know, a story for English, I can just click and it will bring up a new document. I can name that document at the top, say my story, and I can say, I don't know, the bear was walking through the woods. Okay. If I wanted to, I can share this with the teacher, same way I would through Google Classroom if they ask for it. I don't need to do that at the moment because they haven't asked for it, but I can still work on it as a document until they ask for it, until they put that assignment on Google Classroom. If I close it, oh no, okay, I didn't save it. Don't worry, everything on Google Drive and Google Docs is automatically saved. So if I load it back up, it's right there. I don't have to do anything, it's all automatically saved. If I was to make a massive mistake and be like, oh no, I've just deleted everything, okay, I can look back at my version history as well, and I can see the version history, and that will take me back through my different versions. So if I wanted to press undo or anything like that, I can see that I've deleted this, and I can take it back, and I can actually go back to this version. Okay, so I can press restore this version or make a copy, and that will just bring all of my work back. So it's really difficult to delete things, which is another great reason why we use Google Classroom and Google Docs. I think I'm going to pause there because I don't want to run out of time for any questions, but also there's a lot to take in there. The main port of call for students is going to be Google Classroom. Google Classroom has all of the all of the subjects for middle school on there, and this will be introduced for grade 5 as well as they get used to using their Chromebooks. This is where they'll hand in all of their work, and they can see their deadlines with the to-do button. And My Drive is kind of like My Documents for the student. Okay, and they can save their documents there whilst they're working on them. I'm going to finish there. If there are any questions, please let me know, because I know that it can be quite confusing when being introduced with something new. This has been recorded as well, so if for example you can't remember how to do something and you want to go back, we can share this with you as well.
Mr. Ben?
Yeah.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ms. Sarah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Jury's mom from grade 7B.
Yeah, I know Jury.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, there are some files that says participation, but I didn't really get what do we have to do in these files?
Miss Sarah, did you want to explain that, or should I?
Go for it, Mr. Ben.
Okay, so participation, you might see that on Google Classroom. It will come up on the classwork page, okay, and it will just be here in as a separate thing, and it will say participation. That will be a mark out of 100, and that will be based on how the work they've handed in and the Zooms that they've been to throughout the week. So for my middle school students, we've got 4 lessons in a week. Okay, if they haven't turned up to one of them, they'd lose 25%. If they haven't turned up to 2 of them, they'd lose 50%. If they haven't handed any work in, they'd lose 75%. That sort of thing. Okay, and that's just at the end of each week. They get a participation amount. We can also
Yeah, so for participation, Mr. Ben, it's just like that. So it's basically where they at the lesson, because we're looking at classwork and other components, and that's going to give us the attainment and progress of the lesson. So sorry, it's loud here. But the actual participation is, did they show up to the Zoom lesson, and did they engage in the learning? So if I didn't show up to the lesson, I'm getting a 0. And if I was at the lesson, but Mr. Ben had to keep saying, are you paying attention? Are you here? Is your camera on? Then you lose your participation. So it's purely, did you attend a Zoom lesson? Because all of our middle school sessions are on Zoom. So that's that participation. The other percentages, like if you look at classwork, you're gonna see a percentage. That's how you completed it. That's how, was it correct? And that goes more into attainment and progress. For participation, is simply, did I show up to the lesson?
Okay, thank you. One more thing, because one of them, she got missing. So I don't know, do we need to press the submit button? I don't know why she has a missing there on the participation file.
So yeah, it might be that she just needs to press turn in to say that she's done it. Or it might be that there's a file missing, that she probably has done the work. She's a great student, but it just might be that it's not in the right place.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
So do we have any other questions from anyone?
Could my daughter get her grade 6 books, or rather, when can she get it, if I could ask?
Your copybooks?
Copybooks have already been picked up, haven't they, Miss Sarah?
When you pick up your Chromebook, you picked up your copybooks. So if you haven't picked up your Chromebook and copybooks, you can make an appointment after 2 p.m. and we'll have everything ready for you.
The other books, in terms of subject books, they are digital for the time being whilst we are on distance learning. Is that right, Miss Sarah?
Yes, we do not utilize textbooks, and we don't have hard copies of textbooks, especially 1 to 5, but 1 to 4. Middle school and grade 5 has e-textbooks. So that's Pearson. And so you'll have a Pearson textbook for English, math, and science, but they're digital copies like Mr. Ben said. So those, when your student gets their Chromebook, they're going to have logins for those, and the teacher will instruct the student how to utilize those textbooks in classroom sessions. Great. I think we're good.
Yeah, in answer to that question, so only copybooks will be physical for the entire year, yes. Okay, well, thank you very much everyone for coming to this Zoom session. I hope it was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, obviously I'm here to help. I will put my email in the chat because I know that it can be quite daunting when moving to a new system, especially if you haven't used it at all. But yeah, I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Great. Well, thanks everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Ben. We're going to post this recording on our parent YouTube page, just in case you missed anything.
Thank you so much.